1976. My brother got in trouble in high school, had to get married. Dad was pretty proactive, so he bought him a correspondence course in locksmithing. My brother became a pipe fitter, I became the locksmith. All the way through college, I've got 2 master degrees all the way through that on a part-time basis. Worked with Fernald for over 13 years. I did locksmithing on a part-time basis there. And then I found out that I have 2 kids with cystic fibrosis. So I could have either stayed in the corporate world or I could become a locksmith. So I decided to become a locksmith, which afforded me the opportunity to stay with my kids when I needed to stay with my kids. Since then, I've grown the business. I've got 6 people working with me, and that's basically how I became a locksmith. Knowing that I'm helping people, you know, the lady in the nightgown that's locked outside in the cold, can't get into her house because she locked the door, going there and helping her out, helping the businesses out that have problems with keys. Employee gets dismissed and they need to get their locks changed so that key will no longer work. Those type of things, trying to solve people's challenges. The most difficult job I've had would probably be, and still continues to be, putting in deadbolts. That's probably the toughest job. I'd still do it, fortunately, but again, it takes a lot out of me, especially with those that have 3 to 10 deadbolts to install per day. Probably they can fix a lot of the stuff themselves. A little squirt of WD-40 sometimes goes a very long way. I feel guilty when I have to go out to the home, squirt WD-40 into the lock, and then charge them for that. That just doesn't feel right to me. So if I could talk to business owners, understand their challenge, and if I can solve it over the phone, that's great. I want to make sure that when you need a locksmith, you know a reputable locksmith that you can call. So please put my phone number in your phone, 513-860-0222, because it's good to know a locksmith before you need a locksmith.